Hi, my name is David Battaglia, the founder of Amerasian Defensive Arts, and today we're going to present the Orange Belt curriculum. This was taught to me by the late Grandmaster Remy Paresis of the International Modern Arnis Federation, so we will be covering mostly the modern Arnis curriculum. Just one thing I would like to point out is, as a courtesy, it's good to stand with your stick or sticks in this position. If you're receiving instruction, you don't want your sticks flying around or flopping around. Our salutation in the modern Arnis form is basically left foot into right, left hand on chest, present the stick, and back to our ready position. One of the things you may want to practice is the warm-up. Okay, and you just basically are doing what's called an abanico or fanning motion. Okay, and I can do that with the right hand and the left hand because we want to develop ambidexterity in our practice, and you'll see this throughout the tape. I can lengthen the stick and get a little better stretch or flexibility as I do it. Okay, and then same thing on the left. Another stretch you can do, which is very good, is to hold both ends of your stick. Don't open your fingers and just twist it over to your side as if you were doing a block on the side, sometimes called a wing block. Okay, and this will also help with hanging onto your stick as well as getting your wrists flexible and strong. Okay, what we're going to work is basically a warm-up, but it's also a good double stick or double baston striking drill. And instead of coming from over the top first, I'm going to come out from the bottom and then strike and go to a chamber on the opposite side, and then the bottom and then the top. So there's a slight hesitation between the two strikes. 1, 2, and 1, 2. Okay, and just if you use it to warm up, you start slowly, and then you just progress into doing it a little quicker. Okay, but again, going back to a slower version, and you practice your chambers. 10 angles of attack that are used in the Filipino martial arts style that we practice at Amerasian Defensive Arts. Dale, if you would please. We start with number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, basically the targets could be the collarbone, for example, on the 1 and 2 strike. Okay, possibly the head is good to practice learning to defend against the head strike in case somebody tries to hit you in the head. 3 and 4, okay, could be at the elbows or the ribs or even the hands if the hands are extended out. Right, I could be hitting the hand with a banda a banda type motion, which is side to side. 5 is a thrusting motion, as are 6 and 7, okay, aimed at the pectoral muscles, there's nerve centers. 8 and 9 at the knee joints or the legs. And then 10 is just an overhead strike, okay, straight down. And that's our 10 angles. Okay, what we're going to demonstrate next is called single sinawali. Even though 2 sticks are used, the name is still single sinawali because you're doing 2 strikes with the same hand, then switching and doing another 2 strikes. The strikes are basically the 1 and the 8, and then this comes back to chamber and the 1 and the 8. Okay, so Dale and I will be demonstrating this for you. Dale will continue to strike with 2 sticks, and I'll start to practice 1 stick against 2. The other one is always held up in the chamber position. Okay, I can switch the other stick in. Go ahead and go back to the 2 strikes again. Okay, we're slowing this up a little bit now. Just again, think of this as a striking drill similar to what you might do in sparring, okay, working up to a, say this is a pre-sparring drill, working up to sparring. Okay, so we're practicing the 1 and 8, starting with our chamber position. As the strike comes out, the one important thing here is that I don't try to contest his power. I don't try to go stick against stick and smash our sticks together. I actually really want to think of, if his stick were out, hitting his hand and drawing my stick back. Because what that also does for me is it kind of negates some of his power and it takes my hand out of the target line. If I just do kind of a windshield wiper effect with him, okay, let's say we're using the 1 stick, and I leave my hand out there, or he leaves his hand out there, we're both right open for targets, okay, just to come over and smash the hand. So remember, you want to hit and draw back, okay? Same thing here, hit and draw back. Think of cutting or slicing when you make contact, because this will prevent you from trying to contest a bigger person's power. Okay. Good, thank you. All right, just to show you what I mean, Mike is quite a bit larger than I am, has quite a stronger swing than I do. So again, I do not want to contest his power when doing this drill, and I'll try to contest his power just a little bit and show you what happens when I do that, and then I'll go back to the correct way of doing it. Okay, what you could probably see there is my stick kind of starting to fly back at me. Because I've done this before and I learned the hard way, I actually had the stick come back and fly and hit me in the head with a big person about Mike's size. I started to realize that it wasn't about smashing the sticks together, it was more about targeting the hand and trying to draw and cut, because remember, the Filipino arts, just like Aikido, are based on bladed arts. All right, another double stick drill that is very useful is called double sinawali, or doble baston sinawali, and it means weaving or making sort of like a basket in the Philippines, weaving together a basket. And as you see, we'll practice this together, first with our tips up, and then there's a tip down version. Okay, if we slow this up, let's start back in our right chamber. Basically, we're working with a strike that comes out. We should be meeting tip to tip. Okay, so actually more on the end of the stick. Okay, it comes out, and then chambers onto the left shoulder. The backhand comes out from underneath the arm, and also chambers to the left shoulder. And we throw a backhand strike and tuck to a new chamber on our opposite side. So once again, a 1 strike, chamber to the right, a back fist strike, chamber to the right, another back fist strike, and back to our original chamber. And then put together, once again, it looks like okay, good. Now we have a tip down version. Simply the second strike, the tip is pointed down, so it might be a low strike toward the groin or the leg. Okay, and once again, slowing it down. It's the same basic pattern. I strike up here, chamber to the left shoulder. This time my stick is pointed down, and then I bring it back up to chamber on the left, strike the back fist out. Once again, strike a 1, chamber to the right, low strike, and then bring it back to the right shoulder, strike out, and chamber. And that will be our double sinawali drill. Okay, this is the redondo drill. It's 3 strikes to either side, ending up in a ready position. And basically Mike is again working his footwork, working his body, and practicing using both hands, so he's, again, being ambidextrous, left and right. And this is a nice motion for the idea of it's like trying to walk into a fan blade, okay, when you have those sticks moving. Okay, and he can speed that up a little bit too. Very good. Okay, starting from our chamber position, I'm going to just break this down slowly. Mike did a nice job of doing that very smooth and very quick. But basically I'm aiming at one point with my stick and drawing it back up to my right shoulder. Okay, this strike is coming out from underneath, hitting the same point and being drawn up to my left shoulder. Sometimes you can practice this coming around the head and striking your third strike, which puts you back into a chamber position on the left side or the opposite side. Then once again, I'm going to strike down, draw this up to my opposite shoulder or my right shoulder, let this strike come out from here, put it up to my right shoulder, come around the head, and strike again down. So that's one variation of doing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's the variation Mike used without going around the head. So we have two variations of that. One is a little quicker, one is a little safer. If I come around the head, guaranteeing my head while trying to get that second and third strike in there. Okay, or if I have just a very quick motion where I can get those strikes off very quickly, I may not need to protect my head. Okay, so it just largely depends on the situation and depends on how you practice this. I'd suggest practicing it both ways so you're familiar with both ways. Alright, starting from our ready position, now we can do redondo practice with a partner. This is called Heaven 6 because your tips of your sticks are pointed up toward the sky or up toward heaven. Okay, what we are doing here is we're just kind of mixing in the covering of the head and the one in front. So if we look at this again, starting from here, we're going to cover the head and practice the drill with covering the head. Good. Now without covering the head, basically the same thing, except it's just a tighter motion in front, and it's still the same type of strikes. My sticks are just a little more in front of me in the center. Okay, but at any time I could switch back to covering my head. Okay, another drill we're going to work that incorporates both hands is called a spadiadaga, which means long and short weapon. Long and short sword, for example, long and short stick. And we will also touch on the pocket stick as well. But sometimes this was used as a spearing motion if you had two that were separate. Sometimes it was put together and used in this fashion.